Here in the Ouachitas, the days start quiet. Just wind in the trees, birds waking up, and the kind of stillness you don't really notice until you've lived without it. This land doesn't care who you are. It'll teach you patience, reward hard work, and it'll humble you faster than you can say, I got this. It's beautiful, but it'll make you earn every bit of comfort. And honestly, that's kind of the point. And once the quiet settles in, it's time to get back at it. Today's plan, to finish the coop. See if the garden's still hanging on and try not to smash my thumb with the rock hammer again. We'll see how it goes. Morning ritual. Trying to stay stronger than the wildlife that wants my lunch. The tomatoes are finally starting to turn. Little pops of red showing up like they heard I was getting impatient. And these little cayenne peppers are so good. Or serranos, I can't remember which this is. And the jalapeno plants are loaded up. And the strawberries are putting on so quick. I've already picked several ripe strawberries in the last 2 or 3 days. Ate them for breakfast. The straight neck squash that I planted last week has already popped out of the soil with its seed leaves. We've had a solid week of 85 to 87 degrees here in the Ouachitas on these south-facing slopes. Everything is putting on fruit and in full bloom. We've been blessed with a tremendous amount of rain, so much so that I haven't had to water much. Did have a mishap last week with my ISO tote where I pulled up here after a fishing trip and found that the pump was running and the tote was almost empty, and most of my water had been pumped out onto the ground. I had a PEX fitting that had popped off of the pump, and it was a pressure pump, so it just pumped the tote dry. these cherry tomatoes I'm so excited about. And so many cucumbers. I can't wait to make some jalapeno and garlic pickles. So, number one goal today is to try to piece together a chicken coop, a roosting box for my chicken coop, and finish the chicken coop completely out today. So I've got to, I don't really have the lumber for it, but I'm gonna try to put together with what I have, build some sort of a box right here that'll keep the chickens safe at night. Other than that, I'm gonna shoot mostly time lapse so I don't bore you like I did last week. There's the garden is looking great. I've got red tomatoes already, right? They're almost ripe. They're turning dark red. They'll be ready by tomorrow, the next day probably. The cucumbers are coming on like crazy. I'm gonna try to make some jalapeno pickles and some spicy garlic pickles. Strawberries are doing great. I need to cut some of the new plants off of those and plant them in another place so that I can have 2 strawberry patches. I don't know where I'm gonna do that, but I need to. Cabbage, the broccoli, everything looks great. All the peppers are doing exceptionally well. I've got corn stocking up everywhere. So I've planted just buckshot corn all across the property, and it's just popping up out of the ground. Places I forgot I planted it. Anyway, I'm gonna get to work, and it'll be mostly time lapse from here on out.
Trusting your instincts, realize that knowing looks different to each. When living authentic, do more exploring, deeper than knowing just what is essential for life that is thriving. Go deep, mute out the chatter, feel it, burn off the fire, let go until there's peace to your core.
Alright, so I'm working on the roosting box now. A lot of folks mix this up with the nesting box, but they're 2 different things. The nesting box is where the hens lay their eggs. It needs to be cozy, quiet, and tucked away so they feel safe. The roosting box, or really just the roost, is where they sleep at night. They want to perch up off the ground, feel a little bit protected, and avoid the cold or anything that might sneak up below them. So this part isn't about eggs, it's about bedtime. Now I'm putting together the chicken ladder, or chicken bridge, depending on how fancy you want to sound. This is what helps the girls get up the roosting box without having to flap their wings like a bunch of confused pigeons. It doesn't have to be pretty, just sturdy enough to hold a few birds and maybe the occasional raccoon if things go sideways. A few rungs, a good angle, and they'll be climbing it like pros in no time. So, just a little update, mostly about the chicken coop. This morning, I've got, I don't know if you can see that, I've got my roosting box finished. Now I've just got to put some mesh from this post over to this post all the way up. And then I need to mesh in around the bottom of the nesting box. I built my nesting box with a screen bottom. See if you can get in there and see that. And the reason I built it like that was so that I could harvest poop from down there, from outside the coop, without ever having to come inside the coop. I can just literally from out here, if I do some if I mesh that in, all that poop's gonna drop out here outside the coop. And then that keeps the chickens from going through it, and it allows me to have a condensed area where I can put sawdust, compost, something. I can put it right there, collect mass amounts of chicken poop, and hopefully have a good source of fertilizer for the garden, which the garden's just doing crazy well. Exceptionally well. I harvested my first tomato yesterday. Actually, first two. One of the cherry tomatoes turned red way before the others. Let's see if I can. Yeah, so I cut one of those cherry tomatoes off and I ate it, and it was exceptional. Really good. And then I've almost got a second tomato ready right here, but there was one that was just sitting right on top of this one, touching it. So I went ahead and collected it yesterday. Something started eating the cabbage really hard yesterday, so I put a bunch of 7 dust on everything this morning. Gonna just try to get rid of whatever that is real quick. And yeah, that, you know, people online will say, oh, 7 dust, you're just putting pesticides all over your food, but it's better to put it on there and have your food than to not. And I'd be happy to hear of some natural insecticides that maybe would work, but they have to work. They can't just do nothing. They gotta come on. You know, I don't know that this isn't, I don't know what this is. I'm sure I planted it, but I don't know what it is. I'm thinking that may be garlic. I don't know. I don't know what garlic looks like. I don't think I've ever planted garlic. But it's definitely not the same as that, which is my sweet corn coming up. Several different places. Anyway, we're probably gonna just get started back on the chicken coop and try to get it knocked out, at least the mesh, and have it fully capped where it's ready for chickens. Then I can go get some PVC and build a feeder and a waterer. Once I get the feeder and the water installed and the mesh on the outside installed, I'll probably just go ahead and get some chickens. It's really stressful to think about with the possums and the raccoons and everything that I have here that are predators to the chickens. I think that the chickens will do well as long as I free range them a lot during the day and make sure I shut the coop up at night, which is, you know, easier said than done when you go to town and you go to a friend's house and you're down in the close to the lake working or fishing or something, and you end up staying and eating dinner or drinking a beer and hanging out with some people, and then it's dark, and then you get up here and then your chickens are dead. So I think I just got to do a good job of letting them out when I'm gonna be home all day and not letting them out when I'm not gonna be here. Planning on putting mesh all around the bottom on the outside and of the ground. That way any predator that comes up and tries to dig will obviously figure out that he can't dig there and hopefully give up and go somewhere else. But another thing I can do is put out some predator traps, some dog-proof coon traps. I can take the ones that I'm not using down in the food plot, move them up here around the chicken coop, and hopefully they'll get caught in a trap before they get into the coop. That'll just catch them if they're in the area, you know. They'll smell the food or the trap and they'll come to it rather than getting in my chicken coop. Anyway, chicken coop's looking good. Chicken coop's coming along. It's almost done. One more day to get the actual coop done. Then I've got to come up with some sort of feeding and watering system, which will probably be PVC, just to keep the chickens from spilling and being wasteful. There's the roosting box from a ways off. Anyway, I'm gonna put a GoPro on time lapse and just kind of wanted to give you an update what I've done yesterday, which was basically spent the entire day building this box, and I think that's all I did was build that box yesterday, which I know it looks like junk, but it was built 100% out of excess scrap wood out of that pile, which is now half the size it was. There's a couple of 2x6s that I did cut and put in there, which are a little excessive, but they were the basis of everything. So anyway, doesn't look bad considering it's built 100% out of scrap wood. A lot of the screws are recycled screws from secondhand screws and secondhand wood. Pretty proud of that. There's my little bridge, my little chicken ladder. It'll go on this platform. Once I've got everything meshed in, I'll reattach it. Anyway, we're going to go into time-lapse mode now. The sun sets slow out here. No rush. Just light fading behind the ridge, like it's got nowhere else to be. Then the stars show up. Quiet, steady, and ancient. The kind of sky that reminds you how small your worries really are. Out here it's just you, the dark, and the sound of the land settling in for the night. And then, just like that, the light returns. The whole ridge warms up. The birds get loud, and it's time to pick up where you left off. A new day, the same work, and honestly, that's the good part. guys. Well, so chicken coop's about done. It's just about done. You can see it right there. I still want to put some mesh around the bottom 2x4s. So on the outside of it, there's a lot of raccoon and possum in the area, and they're really hard on a chicken population. They like to dig under the coop and get in. They also like to reach through the barbed wire or through the chicken coop wire, and that's why I got the mesh wire. They like to reach through and grab the chicken by the neck and pull its head off, and then just leave the body. Really, they leave the head usually too. They don't do a very good job of. They're not very efficient at killing chickens, but anyway, thought I'd just do you a little walk around inside here while before we get too far along. There's it's gonna be pretty warm the next week or so, so I think I may get some baby chickens. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I've also got a few adult chickens that are already laying, and they will, they'll be already suited for eating out of waterers and that kind of stuff. There, you can kind of see inside there. This roosting box is going to have a mesh bottom, 2 roosting bars, and that way they'll be able to, when they poop, I'll be able to go out here outside the coop and grab their poo and put that in the composter or in the garden. The nesting box, I'm gonna do something. I've got some commercial old metal commercial nesting box. I think they're gonna go down here in the floor somewhere, and I'll just have to come manually check those. I may hang them when I get them. I don't know where they're gonna fit right now in the whole thing, so I want to make sure that they are not weak to predators like raccoons and possums. And it just, from what I was looking at, they are kind of vulnerable, so it will take some engineering. I'll have to build something to keep a raccoon or a possum from reaching in there and grabbing eggs, reaching in there and grabbing a hen. They will free range quite a bit. They will go in and out during the daytime while I'm here, or if I plan on being here in the evening to shut the door. As long as I plan on being here, they will be fairly free ranged. But the chicken coop's done. There's a lot to clean up. Got like a lot of stuff drug out. I don't know if you can see that. Buckets of lots of cutoffs, lots of metal scraps, just lots of tools drug out everywhere. So I'm fixing to spend the next hour tidying up, cleaning up, and then I've got another small project I want to do before it rains again, which the rain probably isn't coming in till maybe Monday or Tuesday, I think, was the best chance I saw. But I've noticed a very inefficient part of my rain collection roof on the end of it. It's losing a lot of water. Probably 2/3 of the water's going onto the ground instead of going into my isotope. So I'm gonna try to fix that this evening. Just have it done. I'm gonna knock it out. Probably won't film that because it's nothing really that I want you to see. It's gonna be tedious, and I'm just gonna try to knock it out as quick as possible without filming it. But another week, hopefully by next week we'll have chickens. Get the mesh put in around the bottom, feeder, water, and it should be pretty easy from then on to just maintenance them and not let them out when I'm not around, so the hawks and the different critters don't get them. But I'm gonna get to work, get to cleaning up around here, and hopefully we'll be having some chickens next week. I'm pretty excited about that. I mean, I've been working on this chicken coop for probably a month, and I was real hesitant. Like, I didn't think I had the stuff to build the nesting box or the roosting box, and I've come to the conclusion that I did have. I just had scraps, and I would just have to piece it together, and that's what I did, which was a great use of all the recycled cut off wood that I had laying around. I'm pretty excited that I did cut it, and I did use it, and I did get it done with, but basically just junk lumber. I think I used 2 or 3 2x4s and maybe 1 2x6 to build the whole thing. No, 2 2x6s. But it's done. We got it done. I'm hoping it'll hold chickens, and hoping it'll keep the critters out. Anyway, I'm gonna get to cleaning. While I'm cleaning up this mess, I want to take a minute to say a huge thank you to almost 17 new subscribers we've had in the last 2 weeks. For a small channel like ours, that's a big deal. It really means a lot, knowing that folks are interested in this off-grid journey, chicken coop, garden struggles, and all the mess that I make along the way. If you're new here, welcome. And if you haven't subscribed yet, but enjoy honest work and a little humor and learning as we go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really helps more than you know. Also, I love hearing from you in the comments, so don't be shy. Drop a line, ask a question, or just say hi. This little community is what keeps us going. There's not a lot of people to talk to up on the mountain, so this is kind of my way of interacting with people. Thanks again for being part of this, and it truly means the world.